Basically what I'm going to talk about today is the importance of strategy in business and the importance of changing your strategy. As the standardistas were saying today, you know, it's not just enough to, culprit. It's not just enough to know your goal, you've got to know the strategy. The strategy is the roadmap, that's how you get to the goal. And well, if you're wondering what makes me qualified to talk about strategy and stand in front of you and say, yes, I'm 2 months in business, but I can tell you about strategy. I feel like I've utilised strategy a lot in my own life, my personal life. To change the course of things. Up until the age of 6, I couldn't speak properly. I was always labelled as the stupid child in school. But I turned that around because somewhere along the way in childhood, I figured that if I set a goal and I went for it and I knew how to get there, I could get there. So I turned things around. I went to a top university. I ended up dropping out, but I still got there. So, and I went on to start up Digital Link. So you do not ever want to be in this conversation. I have been there. It is embarrassing. Basically what happens is you say, my company's going to be worth 100 billion, and your investor says, how? And you say, I don't know. Everyone forgets that we get caught up in the dream, and you always forget the little nitty-gritty details like the roadmaps, the milestones you have to get there. So always figure out how you're going to get to the dream. And it's so important, and I can't stress this enough. So say, for those of you who are sad enough to watch EastEnders, and I'm one of you, don't be like Brannigan and Sons. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Max and Bradley recently, and they're decided they're going to go into business, father and son. And then they kind of look at each other and like, what business? And they don't quite know what they're going to do. And by the time Bradley dies last week, we still haven't figured out exactly what they're doing. We just know that they're in business. Figure out what you do from the very beginning. This is the core of the talk, and this is what I really want to get into. It's the importance of change and strategy. Because we always hear so much about setting your goals and going for it, but I sometimes think that we don't hear enough about changing the strategy and the impact that this can have. Because there's more than one road to 100 billion, and it doesn't have to be in your business plan. One of my mentors, David Kirk, always says, if your business plan survives contact with reality, if your strategy is consistently the same, there's something very, very wrong there. And you know what, I totally agree with them. I totally agree with them. Always, if you are banging your head up against a brick wall 10 times, the brick wall is not going to suddenly fall down the 11th time. Change your strategy. You're doing something wrong. Figure it out. It's not about changing the road or the goal. It's just about going a different way. So to give you an example of that, when I started off Digital Link and got the idea for about March last year, Digital Link was originally a radio production company, and it was something I could do because I didn't have enough money to go to the Students' Union on a Friday night, and I wanted to create a bit of pocket money for myself, and media was the only thing I really loved to do. I didn't want to work in the shop because I hated retail. But then I started to dream, and now 8 months later I've left university and I'm building a multi-million-pound company. And you know what, I wouldn't have been there if I hadn't been flexible enough to let go of the original dream, shake things up a bit, change it around and pursue it in a different way. And that's why I think sometimes we get so caught up in trying to do one thing, and it's that saying, if you keep doing the same thing you'll get the same results. Sometimes when something isn't working out, you've just got to change it around, and that's all you've got to do, and it will make the difference. Again, change the road, not the destination. This is brilliant. The best piece of advice I ever got was change your strategy. If it's not working, change it. And there's a man called Tony Robbins. I don't know if you've ever heard of Tony Robbins. Any motivational speakers in the room or life coaches, maybe you know him. And Tony always says that if you ever play golf, now it's an old man's game, so I don't play it, so no offence to the old man in the room, but when you say if you're swinging the club and the ball's going way off here and it's going nowhere near the hole, if you change your stance 1 millimetre, the ball will go into the hole. And I always thought, Tony, I'm sure that if all hell is breaking loose and I do one tiny little thing different, it's going to change the whole outcome. And I always questioned that, but quite recently, past for 6 weeks, I launched the business properly, and we moved into our offices, and all hell did break loose. And I was getting knockback after knockback. I'm trying to make money, I'm trying to get clients, and nothing's working. So about 3 days ago, I sat down with my team and I said, right, we need to do something different. And what we're actually doing is we're building a news site. It's a news website. And we said, well, why don't we change the style of writing from serious to humorous? I don't know what it was about that decision, but within the space of a day, things had totally turned around for us. We just went into a room with the local media giants yesterday. We signed a deal which is going to be worth quite a lot of money, and that was the first big success we've had. And I don't think we would have got that if we hadn't changed our strategy just by this much. But I don't even know how it worked, but Tony Robbins turned out to be right. It changed the whole outcome for us. And we're actually hopefully going to be signing a funding deal too in the next month. And it's all come in the past 3 days as a result of just changing our direction a wee bit. Andy laughs at me because every day I play the Rocky soundtrack in our office.
I laugh because you've never seen the film.
I know. But you know what? Yes, and I keep meaning to, but you won't bring me the DVD in. Think about it, I've never seen the film, but I know the plot, and I know Sylvester Stallone's story. Did you ever listen to Sylvester Stallone? You know, he talks about how he tried to get Rocky made. How many of you have seen Rocky?
Probably everyone.
How many, except me, well I'm young so I can get away with it. How many of you liked it?
Yeah.
All the guys and the girls. Do you know he was rejected 1,500 times, Sylvester Stallone, by agents? Rocky, they told him, it was sappy, it was rubbish, it would never work, and he said, I wrote down everything they said and I read it on the night of the Oscars when we won. In a sense, this is a wee bit off from strategy, but I think it applies to us all, because we're all in a fight. In a sense, we're all trying to make our businesses work, we all want to be successful. And sometimes I think we need to be like Rocky Balboa, and we need to keep fighting. We need to be like Sylvester Stallone, we need to not give up. And I just wanted to make that wee point before I finish this talk. Because I think if there's anything I could give you today, it'd be 2 things. To make your business work, change your strategy. Secondly, don't give up, because if you don't give up, you can't fail. Thank you.